Barrett, emerging as one of the great forces in European bowling now. Had a successful time out on the PBA, picking up a title this year, and has moved to European #1 in the rankings, taking over from Oscar Palermo. And we've had some really talented bowlers in that European #1 spot over the years, so Dom Barrett can be very proud of that ranking. But he's going to need to be on his A game here. We've got a freshly dressed lane, so that means new oil has gone down on the lane, and that should mean that it's a little straighter, and it allows the crankers, the power players, to get up into that pocket and clear out all 10.
Yes, a great looking shot there by Dom Barrett to open up. As you say, it's a freshly dressed lane, so he's going to be found a little bit straighter. We won't be seeing the coast-to-coast shots just yet. Although there's a potential for the lane to break down under these TV lights, the heat that they generate. But it's very early days yet, and this is the man they call the real deal. Man from Pennsylvania, it's Bill O'Neill.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Well, his captain, Chris Barnes, said that he picked him to play on the fresher lanes. Looked to be performing pretty well under those conditions, and he's delighted to get off to a strike start, because in the Baker game he was very wayward. But that's a nice start to this singles match. Well, there you are, Chris Barnes in the commentary box with us at the moment, and you've picked Bill specifically to bowl on the fresher condition.
Yeah, you know, Bill has a very heavy roll. He has a couple of great bowling balls now that are more aggressive anyway, and so it plays more into both his strengths and his equipment strength right now.
Dom Barrett picking up another strike. It's looked to be quite tricky down there on the show lane in this Weber Cup.
Yeah, really, carry has been the hardest thing. There hasn't been that many shots that have really been wayward. It's just been more shots that haven't got to the pocket the right way. And you see a lot of corner pins and a lot of single pin leaves and some 7-10s, and that's the ball not getting through the pins right. What we talked about with Bill from the Baker game, where he really struggled, was really getting his speed softer and using more hand. And he's got plenty more to go. And the first shot was sure encouraging from what we saw before.
Dear, threw the head pin on that one.
Bowling with him. Threw the one to the right a little bit, didn't pick up. I threw one a little left and hooked a lot more, and so I just moved 4 left, and that turned out to be the whole key to the match, because I was able to strike out from there.
We were loving it. Barnes goes coast to coast again. How about that?
Yeah, most of the time on this lane, historically, I've been the guinea pig. I go out and play to the right early, try and make the lanes a little bit easier for the rest of my teammates, and this team can kind of do a lot of different things, so I shuffle up and down the lineup a lot more than I have in years past, which lets me play to some of my other strengths, where I match up to what's best for my ball reaction rather than just going out and trying to make the lanes better for my team.
Well, so far so good, Chris. Good to see you again.
Hey, it's great to be here. I like having the lead early too. We've gotten off to a slow start the last few years and then had to battle back, but Dom's going to be awfully tough. He's been bowling great across the world, and he's got a good look on this lane.
Barrett then. Yeah, he's keeping it straight. Leaves the ring in 10 now. Oh, I love that spare ball. That's a super spare ball. Now, is that an actual replica of Dom Barrett's brain inside the ball? That's what we want to know.
Much too big. It's brain power. But it makes a spare. How about that? Got it all together.
Yeah, spare balls and spare balls, and that's priceless. Bill O'Neill, though, back to a regular strike ball for a regular strike, and that's what O'Neill's all about. There's Chris back down with TJ in the audience, and they're ragging on Mr. Koivunieemi at the moment, but I tell you what, me can give as good as he gets. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think they're talking about the moose signals that he gives to the crowd, but he is a very popular man.
Came to our attention when he appeared on the World Masters, and you said then, Kat, he was one to watch. That's not a great ball to watch, I'm afraid, but Barrett's definitely a class act.
Oh, without a doubt, and the other players, the top players around the world, also acknowledge this fact that Dom Barrett will go somewhere earlier last year.
Out comes the brain, and unfortunately it's an open.
Yeah, really didn't get what he needed there. Just didn't break the pins up, as Chris was saying. Unfortunately, it wasn't a pocket shot, and it just didn't break up these brand new pins. Really
lower and use your hand more. So bring that hand round and control what you're doing. And, well, O'Neill leaves a 10 on that occasion, but that's not a real problem in this game. With low-scoring conditions, just try and make your spares, stay clean.
O'Neill's not been having the greatest season. Had a very early win up in Helsinki earlier in the year in the Ball Masters tournament, which is part of the World 10-pin Bowling Tour. Hasn't had a victory in the United States, but did win a couple of gold medals in the Pan American Games, when all the top North Americans take on Central America and South America in their own games, and he was certainly victorious there, winning 3 gold medals.
Now then, Europe's #1 player, Dominic Barrett, just like Stuart Williams on the last PBA season, managing to pick up a victory. There is Stuart Williams in the glasses next to Oscar Palermo, just talking. O'Neill focusing really hard, and that's gone straight through the head pin. Problems for O'Neill again. In the Baker game, he got caught up in the oil wide. On that occasion, that's for O'Neill.
Well, it will certainly look good if he can make it. This is probably a 10-to-1 shot, maybe even a bit more.
Oof, nearly put it in the gutter. Never got it back, and look at the change that makes to the score. So 2-3-3, the maximum for O'Neill plummets. And as we move to the halfway point in this one, Dominic Barrett is very much back in business here, but can he hang on to it? Cup 13. Dominic Barrett concentrating very hard. He's been out of sorts in this one. Looked like O'Neill, his opponent, was going to dominate, but unfortunately for O'Neill, he's gone through the head pin, left himself an open frame, and Dominic Barrett now leaves one on the other side.
Yeah, had the opportunity to make a double just there, but high on the head pin, leaves the 4-pin standing. Quick discussion amongst both teams there. Tommy Jones, Chris Barnes and Mika Koivinami, and there's that the Brains Trust is out again just to take this single pin down.
There we go. It's a thinking man's game, Cass. Minor adjustment what they leave, and we've seen that 4 left a couple of times now.
Yeah, just a fraction high on that head pin off of a normal strike shot can actually leave it.
Oh, nearly the split. Nearly the big split.
Well, the Wheel of Fortune spins once again for Bill O'Neill. This is not a bad looking shot. And here you can see it in slow motion. It's actually online. It looks great. A fraction light in the pocket only, but look, the 7-10 is standing, and could that be the messenger, the head pin? But it certainly does the damage. I think he always wanted to be a lumberjack.
Fortuitous for O'Neill, means he gets left with that single 7-pin, which he takes out, but it's Team Europe that still have the advantage. Don't be fooled, when the timber starts flying, it's flat-out competition.
They all want to win.
Nice shot from Dom Barrett. And finally, the crowd here in Barnsley getting behind him confidently. Big crowd favourite here at the Metrodome.
Yes, and has been for many years. Normally brings O'Neill looking for 10. Well, there is the 10, and there's a wild messenger going around, but it's just a bit too short and can't carry it. So again, can only be a spare. That's 4 frames in a row without a strike for O'Neill.
Still didn't get all 10 down, and O'Neill is struggling. So takes the 10-pin out. And well, they always say, don't they, a team is only as strong as its weakest link, and I'm afraid at the moment Bill O'Neill looks to be that in Weber Cup 13 for Team USA. And it looks like he's going for a ball change.
I was just going to say, yes, he's marched off. He's brought something back with him, and we're likely to see a different colour ball on his next shot. All these players are winners around the world on the American PBA Tour, and they don't like to lose. They always expect to win, and that's obviously the signs of true professionals. But it can't always be. And if Dom Barrett shoots another strike, he'll have 3 in a row, because that's the first double.
But Captain Oscar Palermo looking very nervous at the moment. He will be desperate for his young player to pick up a win here. And the new ball works. Chris Barnes immediately leaned over there to Tommy Jones and said, what was that he just threw? I don't think he saw the new ball come out.
Some sort of purple devil, wasn't it? It certainly got the business done. Just taking his time. This is a big ball. It's frame number 9. He's working on 2 strikes in a row. Wants to get this game sewn up if he can.
Yes, yes. Very good. And Team Europe getting right behind Dom here, because to level it up at 2-all at this stage will be just perfect.
Yeah, the Ryder Cup. Some sparks flying and some great celebrations sometime.
Well, there's the Purple Devil, as you called it, Cass. It certainly did the job first time up.
Yeah, looking for a double. Should have done that at the start of the game, shouldn't he? Use that ball.
Do you know what? He seems happier controlling the speed with that ball. Maybe it's just a little less reactive.
Well, he's kind of frustrated now because he's found a ball that's struck for him. He's gone 5 frames in this game without strikes. And yes, had he started off with it, what a difference it could be to that scoreboard. Big ball for Dom Barrett. First ball in the 10th. Wants to get it sewn up nicely. And how about that? 4 strikes in a row. Straight through the 200 barrier plus more. He's got 2 shots to go.
He's really cleaning these strikes out as well. They are very convincing. Just has a little check there on the scores to make sure that things are okay.
Yeah, any spare here is going to be good enough. He'll outshoot Bill O'Neill and level the scores.
And there we go. Dominic concentrating so hard he forgot that he's got a crowd that will be happy to get behind him. And the strikes keep coming, whatever ball he throws.
Another great strike will take Dom Barrett through 230.
Well, under these conditions and in this particular environment, that's okay.
Yeah, and as you said at the start, Simon, it's a freshly dressed lane, and so the scores have risen. Dom's actually created the area for himself and taken full advantage. Just a little change of line there, just to experiment, but 234 is going to be a great game.
Job's done. He avenges the defeat from 2000. So he gets to throw for practice here, and that'll do nicely. And well, O'Neill's reaction says it all. Where was that when I needed it? Big discussion here with Chris Barnes about the change. And we know for a fact that Chris Barnes has talked with Bill O'Neill about controlling the speed, using the hand more, and clearly, you know, that particular ball that he started with was the one that they felt was best to do the job. But Bill making a unilateral decision, just marching off the stage, grabbing the ball, bringing it back on and throwing strike after strike with it. And I don't think there'll be any doubt that this will be the starting strike ball next time up. Too late now, though, for O'Neill, because Dominic Barrett has done the business. That is quite a lively discussion. Yeah,
perhaps Chris thought the game was over. Spare here for Bill, and he'll be 200 under par. And unfortunately, not a win.
All smiles again. Leaves another open frame to go sub 200. And a very disappointed Bill O'Neill will leave the stage, minus the victory that he was after. And certainly Team Europe will be a lot happier with the